again, friends. Welcome to another edition of Beavertown Outdoors. I'm John. I'm out here at the beautiful Beavertown compound, and today we're going to talk about out with the old, in with the new. So, as you probably know, if you regularly follow my channel or just someone who knows me in general, for many years we have run outdoor wood boilers or outdoor wood furnaces. We had one at our old house. We have one at this house. And we originally started with a, well, I guess it would be called a conventional boiler. It was made by Ridgewood Stoves. They're still around, but I think they're called Easy Boiler now. And they were very affordable, conventional stove. Worked good. Used a lot of wood. Then a few years back, we switched to a central boiler, Classic Edge 550, which is a gas fire boiler, with the hope of using less wood. I was in the habit of splitting wood and everything else, and not running the big boiler wood per se back then. And it was a solution that at the time made sense for us. And it served us well over the last few years, and you got used to it. I've showed it a couple times on the channel. There's several videos of operating it, talking about it, cleaning it, and whatnot. And but as the wood business has grown, found a disadvantage to it. The gas fires, they don't do well burning what you end up left over with after you process wood for firewood. When you process wood, you get, even if you're buying pulp logs in from a logger, you're going to get, a cookie cut off. You're going to get different things. Processed in tree service wood, there's chunks you're always going to get that they're not ideal firewood, and you're not going to sell them, so you end up just keeping them. And you got a couple of choices: either try to sell them off cheap, which around me doesn't work out too well. I end up more often giving them away, or you just throw them in the brush pile and watch them burn with while you're drinking a tasty beverage. So that's kind of a waste of money, especially when you're talking the cutoffs from buying logs. There's they don't come free, and it's kind of a waste of money to get rid of them. So that, coupled with years of the maintenance and things on the gas fire, we made a decision this year to change boilers. And here's what we went with. This is the Portage Main 2840 boiler. It's a multi-pass conventional. So, which has a meaning. It's more akin to a conventional in the fact that we can burn in this. We can burn, I can burn large chunks, or you burn split wood. It's still made to be more efficient than, say, the Ridgewood was, for several reasons, and I'll show them to you. But basically, wanted to try to still keep some of that efficiency, but not have it be as picky with the wood, and not be as much maintenance at the end of the year and the beginning of the season. So I'll give you a quick walk around of it, talk about it. One of the neat things with this boiler to start off with is just starts on the outside. These have a really nice fit and finish to them. They're heavily constructed, but one of the things you notice is you have the giant, they call it a storm door on the front, which conceals, when normally with an outdoor boiler, take the door out. This is what you see. You see the main, the main firebox door, and I don't think they look bad. Some people, it bothers it. To me, it never bothered me. But one of the neat things is just that's concealed, and get a little extra windbreak here. This is an insulated door. I mean, it's not, R100 insulation by any means, but it's got some insulating factor. So you get those really cold, windy times. It kind of keeps the cold air and wind from blowing directly on the door. Their theory is that helps prevent some of the warpage you might get in the metal, you know, but it's still, and there's actually 3 doors, and I'll explain each of them here in a minute. But you know, the main firebox door is here, and inside, get a little bit of light going on here. You know, that again, it's really well built. They do have you know, a siliconed gasket on them, not just a plain rope that you gotta change every year. But one of the things that's neat in here is this boiler, as in the bottom, has refractory brick. It also has a shaker grate in the bottom, which, oops, get that out of the frame here. Just trying to use this phone for some light. But it's got the refractory brick, special made for it, in there. In the bottom there, you see there's a grate with holes. And how this boiler works is the air, instead of coming through the channel tubes on the side like the gasifier did, it comes up from the bottom, and also in the front here. See if I can show it. There's an air channel in the front, and basically it brings up air from there. But this is called a shaker grate because you can do, there's a lever here, and you shake this to kind of help shake some of the ashes and coal down to keep the air in the bottom coming in. One of the other interesting things is, so the reason for the refractory brick is, unlike most boilers, or you know, wood furnaces, whatever you want to call them, there's no water in the bottom. So they call it out as a dry bottom boiler. The only place you see you have water is where there's metal in here. Once the brick stops, this actually, the top section of this is where is all the water tank around the firebox, not in the bottom. And that has another neat advantage too, which I'll talk about in a minute. But again, nice heavy insulated, well-built door. Has a neat kind of latching system. It does take some getting used to, but you know, has the stop so it doesn't flash back at you. But in the bottom, underneath where that shake grate is, here's the bottom door, and in here, that's where the air comes up, but also the ashes fall down here, and it comes with this ash pan. So instead of having to take a tool and scrape it all out into a shovel that on the outside like you used to, you know, we're just going to be able to pull that pan out and dump it into the ash can. The third door you see, this kind of conceals where the multi-pass portion of this is. Let's see if we can get some light going in here. Not really, but in here, so there is the way the smoke and exhaust comes up is it comes up through one side from the back, wraps around here, goes out the back, and then way in the back you can kind of see the where it goes out the chimney. So, and in the middle there's a divider, and then wrapped all the way around this, it's all water inside. So it's actually absorbing the heat out of the chimney, out of the smoke, while it's all the way up until it gets out to the main chimney in the back. So that's kind of the neat basic features of this. Now, I mean, I'm giving you just a quick overview. You know, there's some very detailed videos. Portage Main has their own channel. They have a lot of videos out there about things that are neat about it. But we've got this all hooked up. Now, another neat thing with this is it doesn't have skirting all the way to the bottom. It's actually on legs, so you can't trap water, moisture. Critters don't have anywhere to make a nest in it. That's another neat thing with this, right? So we had over the years we've had plenty of get out of the sun here, problems with mice getting in and chewing up wires and messing up the insulation on the central boiler. This, with all the encasing of everything, is if you seal it up right, when you install it, there's not much chance for a mouse to get in there. Once they get in, if they can get a whisker in, they're going to get in, and they tear a lot of stuff up, especially wiring. That sun just does not want to get out of the camera. You know, they tear up wiring, they tear up everything. You know, if you don't know, modern wiring is the coating on it's no longer petroleum based or rubber. It's the insulation on wires is a soy based product, which mice like soybeans. It's food for them, so they will actually eat the coating, you know, basically out of hunger. And once they expose the wires and things short out, things stop working, and doesn't do any good. So Portage Main does a really nice job sealing these up. In the back here is where all the water pumps and all the components are. So we got plumbed up. Now this, what I did different with this than I had before, with the central boiler, I had one pump running one continuous loop, the house and the greenhouse. You know, we heat the water and the exchanger in our furnace, and then we were also doing a heat exchanger in the greenhouse on one loop. That I think contributed some issues we had with the central boiler. You know, because by the time the water got through all those exchangers, it was getting pretty cold when it came back in, creating a cold spot in the tank, which is right up by the firebox, and I think that contributed to a lot of the really heavy creosote we were getting on the one side. So to help eliminate that, which I don't know that it's even really a problem with this, based on the different design of these boilers, I just went ahead and split it and bought just a small Taco 7 to run the greenhouse and run it on its own loop, split the loop back off. You know, we still got our Taco 11 BF5J in the for running the house loop, which is, it's a bigger pump now with only having the house on it. It's probably bigger than it needs to be, but these pumps are very durable. It's one of the things I like about them. You know, I've had a Taco 9, I've had Grundfos pumps, and they last a couple years and then go bad, where this, knock on wood, this pump has lasted for a long time, and these are kind of known to be a very rugged pump. So, but in here you can see kind of where everything comes out. So the wire comes out down here into the pumps, goes out, does its loops in the house and greenhouse, and then comes up here in the bottom. But everything down here is well closed in, so we shouldn't have the issue with mice getting into places we don't want, as long as we keep this door shut. But another neat thing with this boiler is it doesn't have solenoids. There's no solenoids in it. There's the electric controllers right here, and then there's a you know, this is a forced induction, so it does have a fan blown in. But what's really neat about it is there's no solenoid opening a damper, no solenoid, stepper motors, more things to go bad. What this has in this box here, which connects to this air tube, which goes all the way down, and that's where your air goes into the firebox. In this box, there's a weighted damper, and when the fan kicks on, it opens with the air pressure, lets the air through, does its thing, and then once the fan shuts off, the door just closes. So there's no solenoid to go bad. There's no any of that stuff. It's a very simple design. And, you know, that's one of the things I think is very appreciated. And one of the things that really drew me to this is just, it's well thought out, but it's still simple. It's not, you know, the more things you have, especially electronic parts, the more things there are to go bad. And they never go bad when it's this time of year, when it's like, okay, it's kind of cold, you're just keeping, you know, you're using it. No, they go bad when it's below zero in a blizzard. So I want to avoid that if whatever possible, and I think this boiler gives us the best opportunity to do that. So that's kind of a quick overview of it. And you know, it's been kind of a warm fall, and but this week, so I haven't lit it yet. I mean, I actually installed this almost a month ago. I installed it actually before we went to the Paul Bunyan show. And I don't know when you're watching this, but we're coming up on the second to last week of October, and it's just now finally getting to where it's cold enough to make it worth it. You know, we have been using propane. I hate using it, you know, and it's funny as we got the tank filled this fall for the first time in a couple of years, and the price has doubled on propane. So that just reinforces why wood is right for us. It's not right for everybody. You know, natural gas, I haven't had natural gas in many years, so I don't know where that's at. I know propane is much more expensive just in the last 2 years than it was before, and it was already very expensive. So, you know, that's for us, wood heating is a no-brainer. You know, it's what drew me into the wood business, and you know, as that's grown, it makes more sense because, you know, I don't have to pay a gas bill. I don't have to pay the propane bill very often. Like I said, we got a relatively small propane tank, and we still, like I said, it's took 2 years before we've had to fill it. Like to keep that going, but this time of year we've been using propane because it's been a little bit cold at times, but not terrible, right? So you're not running that much. But now, you know, now the forecast is in the 30s and below 30, you know, a couple of nights below freezing every night, you know, highs just hitting around 50. So that's where I think I'm comfortable with running it. Plus, you know, we've got some plants that we keep in the greenhouse. You know, we keep the greenhouse heated for a reason, and you know, it's getting on towards time to keep that heated so plants don't die. You know, you use the greenhouse to kind of fool the plants into thinking it's summer all year round, or at least spring. So yeah, so it's time to get it going, and that's what I'm going to do today. You know, we've got it. It's been filled. It's ready to go. I'm actually going to pull a little bit of water out of it and store it just to, you know, because when you heat up the water, it expands and everything. So I'm going to get this, I'm going to get the firebox loaded up, ready to get started, and I'll bring that to you, show you getting it going. All right, so we got the bucket off that was covering the chimney, and then in the firebox, we've got, here we go. So we got some cardboard, some paper, and a whole lot of kindling. So we got that to initially start this, and I drained out about 5, 6, about 7 gallons of water. Somewhere around there. Just, you know, because I had it full right to the top. They tell you to do that when it's full or at the end of the season when you're not going to burn. But before you start it, you want to drain some of that water off and keep it. Hence the pretty pink jugs over there. Figured those, they were cheap because they're pink. And ain't going to mistake those for diesel or gas or anything else. So that's what we're going to use to store that. So what we're going to do is we're going to light the boiler and then let it get up to temperature. Once it's up to temperature, you know, everything's evened out. It actually, you know, shuts off the fan and everything. Once she's up to temperature, I'm going to add some of that water back in just to fill it up, top it off, and then should be good to go for the season. Whatever's left over, we're going to store in the greenhouse and keep that from being frozen, so that way, you know, with all of these, you lose a little bit of water over the season to evaporation, you know, that kind of thing. So, but that water has all the boiler treatment and everything already in it, well mixed. So instead of, you know, you don't want to top it off if, you know, with plain water, that dilutes your corrosion inhibitor. So, you know, as much as possible, we want to use stuff that's mixed. So that's what we got, and I'm gonna put this on the stand, and we're gonna get this thing lit. All right, so we got this. We got initially started. Let's see. We got smoke coming out of the chimney, so we're getting. We're pulling a draft. I'm gonna let this build up a little bit, and then I'm gonna turn the fans on. All right, so we started burning. We're gonna get in here, and so the way this is wired up, there's a little switch here. We're gonna turn that on. Fan should kick on. Fan kicks on. Now water's already 108. It's not because the fire's so good. It is purely because we've been running water through the system with the furnace running, so that kind of heats it up. But here you can now you can see the fire's really picking up, and hopefully you can hear that fan running. One thing you instantly notice too is once the fan kicked on, there's very little smoke. I see there, so she's burning clean. Burn nice and clean, no smoke. As you can see, we're getting up to, we're already up to 168 degrees. Everything's holding good, no leaks. Pumps are running. Coming up to temp. And I added some more wood to it. Should burn good. There's a lot of smoke, so that wood that I just added, see, it's got a decent amount of smoke coming, but the reason for that is the wood I just added. So we've had about 4 days of rain here, and a lot of the smaller stuff I went out to the bin and grabbed some of the smaller stuff and added it, but it was wet from getting rained on. So the smoke is just basically steam boiling the water off that, the rainwater off it, and it's small, so it absorbed a little bit, but figured that wouldn't be bad. It'd slow it down a little bit because it's already come up to temperature really quick, and I want to make sure I got a good fire established. That's why I filled it. I filled it with small stuff. There is a layer of full-size pieces on the bottom, to have it start getting some of the bigger stuff going, but that whole big pile is all slash and kindling and stuff from processing. That way it burns up quick and makes a coal bed a good one to start with. And then once that burns all the way down, then I'm going to add on some bigger pieces and fill it up. That way it gets established with a true coal bed. You know, I know that's not really too much of an issue, but it can be. I know some people with some of these type stoves, especially with the shaker grate models, they have a little bit of trouble getting a good coal bed going. You know, hopefully this will won't be the case. So anyway, I'm gonna let it burn until it finishes up, and then get all my turn the furnace and everything on. All right, that was remarkably quick. You can see we're up to temperature. We're up to 176. It actually cut off at 175, but you always have it go up a little bit. And water's nice and hot, going through both. So now we're gonna go and turn on the furnace and turn on our greenhouse fan and pull a draw on it, because I want to get this to burn a little bit more. And there you have it. So everything's up to temp. House furnace is running, the greenhouse is running. Put a demand for heat on this, and she's burning away, coming up temperature, and getting ready to go. So I will give I'll come back in a couple weeks and give you an update on it, but we'll see how she does. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share. Until next time, everyone, from all of us here at the beautiful Beavertown compound to Beavertown Outdoors. Take care of each other, be good, stay safe, and I'm out.